Hi, hey, hello. It is I, the real main event, the rogue soldier, but more importantly than that, I am the essential John L. Crossfire, and today you are going to be caught in the crossfire, but we will be caught in conversation. So without further ado, let's do this.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 19 of the podcast. Episode 19, so close to episode 20. I've just received my first vaccination this week. Urge you all to do the same if you haven't done already. The only thing that I had after mine was I felt a little bit sleepy and then I had a bit of a sore arm. So I'm chalking that up to a win. Not gonna lie, I've kind of had to pull this episode out of my arse, so to speak, because originally myself and Mrs. Crossfire were going to do a breakdown of this year's King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring, or Queen's Crown tournament, as they're calling it, the first of its kind in WWE, but they never actually released the brackets until after the tournament had started, and then we're all like, okay, maybe we'll just have the pod a day late and we'll do a review of the all-women's Impact pay-per-view, the Knockouts Knockdown. But once again, I can't get into my Impact account, so as of now, I've actually cancelled my subscription, and I'll just wait until the end of the month when it kind of passes what would have been the rollover period, and then I'll resubscribe and see how we go from there. I apologise if the audio is a bit iffy. Mrs. Crossfire is in bed, so I'm trying not to talk too loud, but since Plan A and Plan B subsequently fell through, I have come up with a Plan C, or maybe, since I just mentioned Impact Wrestling, I should say Option C, if you will. There was actually that one time that Brian Cage did let me hold the X Division Championship, so I'm cashing in, damn it. I will be doing a watch-along, my first watch-along on this pod, just to kind of, trial and error sort of thing, see how we go, of the WWE's top 10 countdown of the top 10 King of the Ring winners of all time. And I'm just going to kind of react, discuss my thoughts as it goes along, and hopefully I can keep your guys' attention. But for now, let's just get straight into it. Episode 7 of Heels was pretty good. Again, the pace has somewhat slowed down, but it set up the finale perfectly. And I'm just so freaking keen, man. It'll actually be today as I'm recording this, because it is past midnight. It's 1:15 in the morning on a Sunday. We caught up with episode 8 from last week, Marvel's What If, which was What If Ultron won, and holy cow, was it amazing. Went from 0 to 100 really quick, and that's just an absolute understatement. But if you guys haven't seen it yet, definitely go check it out. It's almost impossible to talk about this episode in particular without giving out spoilers, but just freaking wow, man. I nerded out so hard. So many twists, turns, and you just don't know what's going to happen next. Again, just like all the others, this needs to either be longer or made into actual live action. But episode 9 of What If, the What If season finale for season 1, was What If the Watcher broke his oath. Basically, the Watcher himself has to recruit various heroes to kind of create, his own Avengers or Guardians of the Galaxy. In this case, it's the Guardians of the Multiverse, as he proclaimed them. And this episode actually was a follow-up to episode 8 in the universe, which Ultron did win. Again, I can't say too many specifics for those of you that are yet to watch, but goddamn, spoiler alert though, the heroes in this are the versions of them from previous episodes, so that's a nerdgasm and a half. This was by far the best episode, and rightfully so, should have been the finale, hands down, no arguments, and it's no wonder that they didn't originally announce ahead of time what this episode was, because good lord, like no one knew what to expect, nobody saw this coming, and this does actually feature audio from the late Chadwick Boseman as well, so this will now officially be, I guess, what was his last performance, so all the feels in that one, all the drama in here also. It was just chef's kiss. Just gives me so much hype for the live action version of the multiverse that is to come in the future, because as I said when I was originally saying about this series at the very beginning, it now pertains to the MCU as well. There's just unlimited possibilities of where things can go. The episode ended on a nice little cliffhanger as well, so that gives me great hope that there will be a season 2, but good lord, please just give me season 2 ASAP. And as I just did mention, I still can't get back in to my Impact Plus account, but I did manage to get back into it for a few days at least before it played up again and, unfortunately, ultimately decided to unsubscribe since, I'm not going to pay for a service that I can't use. But the triple threat match on last week's episode of Impact between Trey Miguel, Alex Zane, and Laredo Kid it was off the charts. And I don't think anyone was expecting anything different. This was actually the opener in the mini tournament to crown the new X Division Championship at Bound for Glory. And this match here is honestly who I personally would have booked in the finals at the pay-per-view itself. So what does that say for the quality of match that we're going to get at the pay-per-view? Like, I'm expecting it to be absolutely insane. I will still be purchasing Bound for Glory on Fight TV, so hopefully they do a good enough job on the pay-per-view itself of catching us up on what has happened on the, the weekly shows, along with, I'm just going to read results online and do my best to be up to date. We finally started watching MLW since we were already 3 episodes behind on MLW Fusion Alpha. Of course, they're 3 episodes deep. As of recording this, we've watched episode 1. It was decent, wasn't anything, spectacular, but it was a very good starting point for their comeback 2 weekly shows on YouTube. The main event featured Davey Richards and TJP. It was a nice little technical classic. They have also announced the 2021 Opera Cup tournament, which is a pretty prestigious tournament. And there's some big names in here, especially as it pertains for MLW. We have Bobby Fish, Davey Richards, Alex Shelley, Matt Cross, TJP, Filthy Tom Lawler, Lee Moriarty, and my dude, Calvin Tankman. I'm pulling for either Tankman or Matt Cross here, but I honestly feel like Tom Lawler will actually win the Opera Cup for a second time. Over on Raw, the opening promo segment with Becky, Charlotte, and Bianca was actually really good. I'm not overly fond of having, the promos start the show, which has been it's been the norm in WWE, honestly, for decades at this point, but this one in particular, it served its purpose, especially with it being, night 2 of the draft, and it set up, potential matches in the meantime before the draft is set in stone in a couple of weeks. Jeff Hardy actually teased Willow in his promo following his loss to Damian Priest. Yes, like I said in the episode before this with Mrs. Crossfire, that I want it to happen so freaking bad. And it looks like we actually might be finally getting it. After the match, Jeff Hardy was interrupted by Austin Theory, and he was then beat down by Theory. So possibly going to have Willow to attack Austin Theory, or he's going to lose to Austin Theory as well, which brings out Willow when he goes to SmackDown. But looking forward to seeing what, when that happens, if that happens. Obviously, the draft doesn't, finish being set in stone until the day after Crown Jewel, so not expecting Willow to show up at least until Hardy is officially on SmackDown. But again, just wait and see. Doudrop was actually built up to look like a threat to Shayna Baszler, so I love that. My boy Dolph Ziggler cut a very good promo on Big E, and then Goldberg had a fucking terrible promo where once again he threatened to kill Bobby Lashley. No matter how much outlandish stuff happens in professional wrestling, a wrestler threatening to kill another wrestler, at least if it's not in the heat of the moment. If you say it in the middle of a match when, emotions are running high, then fair enough. But it's so fucking cringeworthy, and I don't care who it is that's saying it. Like, yeah, back in his day, Goldberg, who was this big, man beast, and he could have tore apart anyone, but I still don't believe that he could have killed anyone, but that's just me. Xavier Woods was demanding to be added to the King of the Ring tournament. So here for it. Spoiler alert, he actually is in the tournament now. This week's episode of Raw, after the pod airs, Xavier Woods will have his first round matchup. Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair faced off in the main event with Big Time Bex on commentary. Some very good stuff there. Sasha Banks would take out all of the women to end the show. Not quite as good as the last few previous episodes of Raw, but still surprisingly good, minus that cringe as fuck Goldberg promo. Over on NXT, Mandy Rose picked up the win over Ember Moon in a fairly decent match. I get that they are building Mandy up, but it's kind of sad because Ember Moon, she's just kind of fallen off, so to speak, after, her triumphant return to NXT a few months ago. But I guess we'll just have to see where it goes. LA Knight picked up the win over Odyssey Jones due to interference from Andre Chase. I love the slow build that Andre Chase is getting here. And I am still super shocked, actually, that LA Knight wasn't drafted to either Raw or SmackDown. We got a backstage interview with Cameron Grimes. Again, I'm surprised he didn't get drafted either. Grimes is apparently looking for love. I guess we're going to get like a bachelor type gimmick. I could see that happening, and I could see Grimes pulling it off, to be honest. Kyle O'Reilly confronted the newcomer Von Wagner backstage. Of course, Von Wagner keeps helping Kyle. Kyle doesn't trust him. We got a promo by the NXT champion himself, Tommaso Ciampa. He was confronted by Bron Breakker, who still screams his Uncle Scott Steiner when cutting promos. Like, Jesus Christ, I'm just waiting for him to do his own version of the infamous Steiner math promo. I honestly am. But we're getting Breakker versus Ciampa at Halloween Havoc in a few weeks' time. Joe Gacy cut a nice little promo backstage. Still digging the hell out of this new gimmick. We got a funny skip backstage with Indy Hartwell and Persia, formerly Steph Delander, which set up Indy versus Mei Ying later in the night. Joe Gacy would defeat Ikemen Jiro with a sexy as fuck handspring lariat. Pretty standard match, but both guys looked good. I still wish Ikemen Jiro would stop wrestling in those jackets though. So many little slip-ups that eventually is going to end badly. After the match though, Joe Gacy was actually stared down by a debuting Parker Bordeaux, now known as Harland, and sporting an entirely new look, looking very imposing. And of course, there was jokes that he looked like Brock Lesnar, which is why I'm assuming they changed his look up because they didn't want to get any confusion there. Frankie Monet would take out Cora Jade's opponent before the match could begin and would make herself the replacement. Cora Jade would go on to get a surprise victory though, with a victory roll, but both women were looking good in this, both of them obviously being built up from here. Joe Gacy interrupted Tommaso Ciampa backstage in an interview, and now this coming week we will actually have Gacy versus Ciampa, and if Ciampa loses, then Gacy will be added to the title match at Halloween Havoc to make it a triple threat match. Pete Dunne and Cameron Grimes had a really good match, for TV at least. Ridge Holland tried to interfere in the match, but Ridge was attacked by Kyle O'Reilly. Pete Dunne would still then go on to counter Cameron Grimes' attempt at his double stomp finisher, and still hit the bitter end for a somewhat clean victory. Interesting that Dunne did still get the win. Pretty much clean as a whistle here, even with the interference being thwarted, but I dig it. Duke Hudson's doing a poker gimmick now, but all I could think of while watching this was Swingers Palace over on Impact, of course, Johnny Swigger doing that, the whole Caesars Palace, Swingers Palace gimmick. But it is still great to see Duke getting a little bit of a push. Hopefully this goes somewhere. Hit Row had a pretty good promo as always. Of course, they're hyping up Swerve versus Santos Escobar for the NXT North American Championship, which Swerve currently holds. I'm expecting him to drop it, the old-fashioned way, before going up the SmackDown, but at the same time, it wouldn't surprise me if he did win, and then they just went on to vacate the title. Either way, Swerve is losing the title some way or another. We finally had the debut of Tony D'Angelo against Malik Blade. This was my first time seeing Malik Blade, and he certainly showed a lot of potential in his own right. So many references on commentary, though, to The Godfather, which had both myself and Mrs. Crossfire chuckling. Tony D'Angelo would pick up the win with a beautiful snap-swinging neckbreaker. We got a great backstage interview with Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. These guys are super entertaining and have really great chemistry. We had the now new Mrs. Loomis, Indy Hartwell versus Mei Ying, as I mentioned before. Persia would go on to sacrifice herself on the outside, allowing Indy to actually take advantage and get the win. It was kind of heelish, but I'm here for it. I really want to see Persia and Indy as the women's tag team champions. We got a video package hyping up the Diamond Mine. Very well done. Each member getting their shine. It didn't overstay its welcome. I just hope they don't add any more members, though, because you don't want to kind of, NWO it, if you know what I mean. NXT Women's Champion Raquel was in the ring for an interview when she was interrupted by Toxic Attraction, Mandy Rose, Gigi Dolan, and JC Jane. Toxic Attraction actually got a really good promo here as well. Gigi's part was much better than she's done in weeks prior. And as I've said before, Mandy Rose's promos, they've just improved absolutely immensely. Toxic Attraction tried to attack Raquel, but the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, Io Shirai and Zoe Stark, would make the save. We then got a tease backstage where Persia and Indy Hartwell would confront Io and Zoe. So it'll be interesting to see who actually dethrones them, because obviously Toxic Attraction, has been teasing it as well. Obviously the mark in me wants it to be Indy and Persia. But in the main event, speaking of tag titles, we had an elimination fatal four-way tag team match for the NXT Tag Team Championships. We obviously had the current reigning defending champions MSK, Nash Carter and Wes Lee defending against Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen. Then we had GYV, the Grizzled Young Vets, Zach Gibson and James Drake. And then lastly, we had the team of Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. Carmelo and Trick were actually eliminated first, which was a bummer for me personally, as I've stated multiple times that I find them extremely entertaining, but Carmelo does still have the guaranteed championship match from his NXT Breakout Tournament win in his back pocket. So hopefully when he eventually cashes that in, he gets to become Tag Team Champions with Trick, or even just a singles champion perhaps. He could actually cash in on Escobar or Swerve after the North American Championship match. Who knows? GYV were eliminated second after an interesting chokeslam sit-out powerbomb combo by Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen. Both myself and Mrs. Crossfire were kind of expecting Briggs and Brooks to be eliminated first, to be honest, and it's nothing on them, it's just they don't have the star power as of yet as the other team. So in a way, it is good that they stayed in until last, because, you want to build up the new guys. So kudos to NXT for doing that. But yeah, just wasn't expecting that. But eventually MSK would go on to retain the NXT Tag Team titles. MSK were then attacked by Imperium after the match, but Briggs and Brooks would make the save to end the show. This was kind of somehow both a decent episode and also just seemed like it was going through the motions at the same time. I don't know how that works, but that was just my observation of it. Over on SmackDown, and I'm recording this, late Saturday night / early Sunday morning. As I said, it's early ass o'clock. So it is actually this week's episode. Of course, SmackDown airs on, Saturdays here due to time zones because, I'm in Australia. The contract signing between Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks, and Becky Lynch for their match at Crown Jewel in true wrestling fashion broke down, but the big thing here was it broke down before the contract could even actually be signed. Bianca Belair would stand tall to end the segment. Sami Zayn would defeat Rey Mysterio to advance in the second round of the King of the Ring tournament after Dominic Mysterio accidentally distracted his father. More slow dissension there. So here for it. I can't wait to see them eventually have a match against each other. Zelina Vega defeated Toni Storm to advance in the second round of the Queen's Crown tournament. Roman Reigns cut a great promo, as he's been doing, ever since he turned heel. I'm glad that they've kind of let him just be him. This is the Reigns we've been wanting for absolutely years by now at this point. But he confronted Paul Heyman about Paul's relationship with Brock Lesnar and what it is going into Roman versus Brock at Crown Jewel. And of course, Brock Lesnar, arguably the most famous Paul Heyman guy we've had thus far. And in true Paul Heyman fashion, Paul spun everything Roman said into an amazing rebuttal. Seth Rollins gave Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce a photo of Edge and Beth Phoenix that Edge had stole from Edge's house after Seth invaded it last week, telling them that if they see Edge before he does, make sure they return it for him. Great heel heat there. Carmella advanced in the Queen's Crown tournament after defeating Liv Morgan. Mace cut a kinda generic, but still a very well delivered promo. Kevin Owens interrupted Happy Talk and then attacked both Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss before the numbers game eventually took over. Not before Madcap told the best joke I've ever heard though. What instrument do you find in a bathroom? A tuba toothpaste. Ha! Sonya Deville announced to Naomi that those two would have a match against each other next week, so I'm hoping that this isn't a swerve of some kind, because both myself and Mrs. Crossfire definitely missed seeing Sonya in the ring. Finn Balor would defeat Cesaro to advance in the King of the Ring tournament. And then to close out the show, Edge returned, speared Seth Rollins, and then challenged him to a Hell in a Cell match. Hell freaking yes. And yes, that was a double pun. Finally, a Hell in a Cell match, built on an actual genuine rivalry and not just a throwaway on a gimmick pay-per-view. And I'll say the same I said about the upcoming SmackDown Women's Championship match at Crown Jewel. This Cell match could be a potential match of the year contender. The way that Seth sold the challenge with his facial expressions was just done absolutely beautiful, and lots of intensity, obviously, from Edge. Your song of the week this week on this royal edition of the pod is Hail to the King by Avenged Sevenfold. This is just, it's an absolute banger. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. And if for some reason you don't like this song, then screw you. I jest, but it's a fucking banger of a song. Slaps really hard. Again, that song is Hail to the King by Avenged Sevenfold. Over in the wrestling news, not much in the way of wrestling news this week, but still some big talking points. From what there is, first off, Bully Ray and Mark Henry have come under fire for comments they made on their Busted Open radio, I guess, podcast or radio. It's on Sirius XM, whatever, but they were defending bullying in the wrestling business. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into this because, I'll be ranting for ages. Plus, as I said, it's fuck off o'clock. I don't want to yell too loud while people are sleeping, but it's been pretty well documented that Bully Ray / Bubba Ray, despite being as talented as he is, has always been a bit of a dick, but I'm very shocked and really disappointed by Mark Henry. Like, as someone that works with all the young talent that he does in AEW, he shouldn't be coming out saying that it's weak or disrespectful to stand up for yourself when being bullied or to go talk to someone in the office about an incident that's happened. Like, just because you were part of the generation that got off on hazing doesn't mean that it was okay back then, let alone now. And there's also a fine line between bullying and ribbing. Like, if you're ribbing someone by tampering with their, personal belongings, that's not ribbing. That's disgusting, especially, when it's their gear and stuff like that. And of course, someone's going to come along and say that I'm being triggered. And you know what? To an extent, I am, because professional wrestling, sports entertainment has always preached that it's meant to be a family. So how about we actually fucking act like it and take care of each other? And to those saying that, Bully and Mark shouldn't be punished for voicing their opinion, yes, they damn well should, because anyone that runs the risk of letting this business be anything but a safe space should just fuck off. And that's all I'm going to say on that matter. Over in more somber and very serious news though, Reggie Parks, a former wrestler in his own right, but most notably a famous championship belt maker, perhaps the most famous belt maker of all time, has sadly passed away this week. So I just want to say a quick shout out, quick thoughts, to Reggie's family and friends. May Reggie's legacy live on forever. Rest in peace, Reggie Parks. Your match of the week this week, before we get into the watch along, your match of the week this week is an infamous match at King of the Ring when it was still its own pay-per-view / event. And this match, while not an actual King of the Ring match itself, is one of the best, most notable matches to ever happen at a King of the Ring pay-per-view in mine, and many others' opinions as well. And that match is Kurt Angle versus Shane McMahon at King of the Ring 2001. Like, I've had many non-wrestling fans tell me how much that they actually enjoyed this match as well. There's actually behind-the-scenes look at this match that they uploaded it to the network about a year or so ago that's well worth the watch as well. But definitely, if for some reason you haven't checked out this match, go check it out. Again, that match is Kurt Angle versus Shane McMahon at King of the Ring 2001. I guarantee you'll have all the holy shit chance, all of this is awesome chance. Just go watch it. Kurt Angle versus Shane McMahon, King of the Ring 2001. And now for my watch along of WWE's countdown of the top 10 all-time King of the Ring winners. Hopefully I can keep you guys' attention for long enough. Ready to cast from your device. Alright, well hurry the fuck up because I want to do a watch along. I'm hoping that the audio doesn't get picked up too much by the recording because I don't want to be done for copyright. While this opening video package is on, I'm going to crack my drink. Former King of the Ring winner in his own right, Stone Cold Steve Austin, is very disappointed in me right now because I am drinking a watermelon-flavoured White Claw. It's a very good opening video package, but WWE always does that very well, of course. Oh, look at this, Stone Cold himself. Oh, hell yeah. King Kurt, back when he had hair, fuck me. All hail King Booker. King Brock. I'm kind of sad we never got to see Brock Lesnar. The whole outfit and the get-up kind of thing. King Barrett. I low-key forgot fucking Ken Shamrock won the King of the Ring. Alright, here we go. Take a swig of my drink. We're about to get number 10. Are we going to go straight into it, or are we going to... Oh, no. Another... Corey Graves doing the voiceover here. Very good choice there. I had my hand covering the chapters so I didn't see spoilers, so I don't know who number 10's going to be. Fall from Grace. Oh, King Court, what? I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck what you say. Baron Corbin deserves to be way higher than number 10. He honestly, maybe it's just me, but I feel like he is actually one of the best kings we've ever had. He had that gimmick, I think, probably longer than anyone in terms of people that have won the tournament. And the whole, turnaround of him going broke and now evolving into the Happy Corbin character, that wouldn't have happened without this original King of the Ring win. So I'm kind of shocked that he's only number 10, but I suppose being number 10, out of how many they've had is still pretty impressive, but I think I would have put him higher than that, to be honest. I know that dude's a plant, but still, his reaction when Corbin fucking poured the drink on his head. Oh, that's great. My voice just cracked and I'm not sorry. Actually, that's something, they just showed how he lost the crown to Shinsuke. Shinsuke Nakamura isn't in the current King of the Ring tournament. Does the winner face him, or do they just become new king? I don't know, maybe they explain that, but it seems silly that Shinsuke is not in that fucking tournament. My wife left. I can't even get an erection. This is great. That's me on the truck. I might just turn my volume down a little bit because I can hear it echoing. So I don't know how much of it you guys is getting, but as I said, I don't want to get struck with a copyright strike or something. I'm just asking for $100,000. It's like Donald Trump. My father gave me a small loan of $1 million. Oh, fuck. This watermelon White Claw is very good, by the way. Not as good as a black cherry. I hope they bring that back one day. Okay, now they're going to show a vignette of him winning his money and then he becomes Happy Corbin. Oh, now it's too fucking low. Look, I've just turned it up, so that's fine. If I get hit with a copyright strike, then shit happens, I guess. This is almost like an alternate, commentary if you want to watch this while I'm doing this. Hopefully this is good for you guys. I know it's, different when you're just listening, not watching, but I didn't want to steal my mate, Chapo Reacts' gimmick by doing myself reacting to it on camera. He'll always be royalty to me. Corey Graves is a fucking mark. 11 different titles in their illustrious career. Number 9. Who we got? Ooh, yeah. Again, Macho Man should have been ranked so much higher than that. It could be me being a mark for him, but I just... they're showing everyone doing the Macho Man impressions. Ooh, yeah, I do it way better than all of them, yeah. The King of the Ring, the Macho King, yeah. I am the cream of the crop. Low-key loved, Queen Sherry as, his manager, but, of course, when Miss Elizabeth reunited with him, though, that's still so much better, with all due respect to the sensational Queen Sherry. Wait, Macho was only the third? I honestly thought there was way more than that because it used to be like a house show thing. I thought it went like way back further than that. I guess it's true, you learn something new every day. You can be the court jester, mean Gene, yeah. Royal pain. His fucking video packages are so good though. As I said, I'm hoping this isn't boring for you guys because there's probably going to be a lot of like dead space. But I'm trying something new here. Probably worked better if I had Mrs. Crossfire or someone with me. But here we are. Macho King Wrestling Buddy, yeah. Drop that elbow. Fuck yeah, they just showed him in Spider-Man. Kind of sad that I didn't realize it was Macho Man in Spider-Man until I was in my teens. Would have appreciated it a lot more, I feel like, if I had have known who he was when I first watched it, but that's just a complete little sidebar, a little rant. They actually got a t-shirt, though, of Macho Man in Spider-Man with the "I got you for 3 minutes of playtime." I really want it. Bonesaw McGraw. I really want to track down one of those Macho Man fucking wrestling buddies, but they're worth so much these days. How are we showing? Okay, when he got inducted to the Hall of Fame, 2015. Lenny Poffo was always super underrated, though, in my opinion. Like, you would have thought, being Randy's brother, he would have got a bigger push, because, of course, wrestling, it's not what you know, it's who you know to a lot of times, but maybe he was just content with, what he did do, but just a little sidebar as well. Still to come. Wait, are we getting a fucking commercial break? This Friday. Fuck your commercial breaks. I'm just gonna... Aha! If you open the fucking time queue thingy, you can fast forward it without seeing the chapters. Okay, and now, back to your regularly scheduled broadcasting. Number 8. Who's it gonna be? Yeah. It's not gonna be the Macho Man, because he was already number 9, yeah. Oh, Sheamus, what? Serious? Maybe I'm being biased because I'm not like a Sheamus fan, but I don't feel like Sheamus did much as King of the Ring. Like, I genuinely forgot he won King of the Ring until like a few days ago when something popped up on Twitter about it. Actually, I think he defeated John Morrison now I think about it in like 2011, I think it was. And I was like salty as fuck because I wanted, King Jomo, Johnny Drip Drip. Why isn't John Morrison in this year's King of the Ring fucking tournament? King Drip. Born in Dublin, Ireland. He's talking about how he left, Ireland and come to another country. I do commend him on that, though, because I can't imagine, like, leaving your friends and your family. Like, it's one thing to, move a few hours away, but to move, overseas, it's pretty hardcore stuff. So, all the props to him. Oh, it was 2010 that he won, not 2011. I was close. King of the Ring, Queen's Crown, this Friday. Well, I'm watching it after Friday, so shut the fuck up. I guess he is right there, though. Like, yeah, he'd already been WWE champion, but the King of the Ring win did kind of make him more of a threat. Because once he lost the title, it kind of just fell off. So I guess the King of the Ring was what kind of built him back up in a way before going on to win the Rumble and the world title, which they're showing right now. I remember being so mad. Like, I'm not even a Daniel Bryan fan, but I still remember being so mad that that match ended in 18 seconds because I was expecting it to be a great match. And then, obviously, they went on to have such good match after that. There's actually a 2 out of 3 falls match that Sheamus and Bryan had at Extreme Rules in, I think it was 2012. It was the same year as WrestleMania 28. There was the rematch to that. It was really good. Oh, I didn't know he was on the cover of Muscle and Fitness. That's kind of a big deal. He was on the Conan O'Brien show? Just kicked the head off a fucking dummy. Or a mannequin, whatever you want to call it. Sheamus and Beaker from the fucking Muppets. I don't think Sheamus was the one that paved the way for future international stars per se, but at the same time, I could see that, like, maybe the next generation, but they showed pictures of Finn and Becky, like, that's no. They were already pretty well traveled, in my opinion. Well, Jesus, fucking every time they show pictures of his entrance, the human glow stick hurts my fucking eyes, man. Number 7, American Royalty. Oh, Kurt Angle. It's true. That's his catchphrase. Kind of gave that one away, but that's cool. King Kurt. It's still so weird, like, even though my match of the week was Kurt Angle with hair versus Shane McMahon, like, it's still so weird seeing Kurt Angle with hair. Yes, 1996 gold medal winner. If you know who Kurt Angle is, you already know that. Unless you've been living under a rock. Stone Cold Steve Austin. The Rock. Whoa, that footage was really on. That was like 2002 footage of The Rock, I think, that he showed. Maybe '03, but he was really fucking young there. Talking about Kurt Angle. The 3 eyes. Self-absorbed. Angle slam. My God, Angle just belly to belly the 400-pound Rikishi off the top rope. My God. Oh, yes, covering Taker's fucking bike in, like, flour and milk. Yes. Why does the crown and everything actually suit Kurt, though? So good. Making everyone tap out to the fucking ankle lock left and right. Oh my God, yes. Jimmy Crack on and I don't care. Jimmy Crack on and I don't care. I'm not going to lie, maybe it's because I've had a really long night at work before recording this, but I've drank half this White Claw can and I'm already, like, kind of a little bit buzzed. The Miz is another one that I could see winning King of the Ring in the future. I hope they bring it back as an annual thing, and hopefully they can eventually make it its own, special. It doesn't have to be a full-on pay-per-view, but a network special, at least. The birth of the You Suck chants. Thanks, Edge. Yes, 2017 Hall of Fame. This was a great Hall of Fame speech. I actually cried really hard when Kurt returned to the WWE, when he was standing on the actual stage itself the following night on WrestleMania with the fellow inductees. I'm not ashamed to admit, I bawled like a bitch, like all his demons and stuff that he overcame while he was in Impact TNA, to overcome those and then make his way back to the WWE and go into the Hall of Fame. It hit my nostalgia bones, it hit my feels. One of the all-time, Kurt Angle, arguably the all-time greatest wrestler when it comes to technical ability. Gonna take a sip of my drink while I fast forward through this another fucking ad. Jesus Christ, how many ads do you need on your own network? Continues on Raw. Who's number 6 going to be? Interesting, I didn't know that. Kurt Angle and Macho Man Randy Savage are the only people that have both won the tournament and been runners-up. Number 6 is Edge, because he said he's rated R. You think you know me. Oh, they played a really cool riff. I thought they were about to play his Rob Zombie theme song for a second there. That got me hype, and now I'm let down. They're showing all the TLC stuff. Yes, infamous Edge Spear, WrestleMania 17. The spot that made me want to be a professional wrestler. Trish Stratus. The fact they didn't have a Queen of the Ring back in the day is kind of disappointing, because someone like Trish Stratus, she definitely deserved that sort of accolade, in my opinion. In my opinion. Tajiri doing the 5-second pose. Ah, yes. Mr. Money in the Bank. Edge has done it. Edge has shocked the world. Fun fact, they showed Edge with Hulk Hogan. Edge is the only person that Hulk Hogan has ever won tag team gold with. Edge low-key, though, I think he probably has the best facial expressions possibly in the history of this business. I just blew into the mic there, my apologies. Calling Sheamus Beaker, which was kind of like a foreshadowing Sheamus being on screen with Beaker years later. That's great. Totally reeking of awesomeness. I don't know why I just sounded like Johnny Ace when I said that. Oh, now we're going to get all feelsy and we're going to show Edge's return at the 2020 Royal Rumble. Still gives me fucking goosebumps, dude. That pop, like, just, fuck. They're showing all the people, like, reacting on, like, their vlogs and stuff to Edge's return, and legit, like, I'm sitting here and, like, I legit have goosebumps rewatching this. Spare! Showing him winning the Rumble this year, only the third man to do it from the number 1 position. I'm kind of hearing the reverberation of the sound, kind of like it's only cutting in here and there in my ears, so if it sounds weird to you guys, my sincerest apologies. As I said, I didn't want to have it like full on there. It was more me kind of reacting to it. So hopefully, again, it's not too boring. But number 5, we need Big E to win. He's going to be number 5 automatically. Just need 5. We got Paul Heyman talking, so it's Brock Lesnar. Again, King Brock. If only we had have got Brock do like the whole like Kings thing, even if it was just for one night. It would have been great. His debut where he just killed all the jobbers. Or enhancement talent. Oh, this is where he fucking destroys Spike Dudley. Oh, fucking Spike Dudley. Arguably the greatest underdog in the history of this business. It really is a shame that Brock left the WWE when he did, because he's already a megastar. Like, yeah, he did the UFC and stuff like that, but could you imagine like how much even of a bigger star he could arguably be right now? Here we go, defeating RVD in the finals. I remember being so fucking salty as a kid because I honestly thought RVD was going to be the one to end the undefeated streak of Brock Lesnar. And then we got Rock versus Brock, SummerSlam 02. And he becomes the youngest WWE champion in history. I believe it's a record he still holds as well. Of course, Orton would break it 2 years later with the World Heavyweight Championship, but I'm pretty sure Brock is still the youngest WWE champion. I could be wrong. They just emphasized Cole's commentary from the original thing about him being the youngest champion, so I'm assuming that still stands. The infamous ring collapse with the Big Show. They've tried to recreate that a few times, but just doesn't have the same effect. Mike Chioda sold that really well as well. Just showed Brock Lesnar. Oh, Jesus Christ! Like, I know you're meant to, kind of train as if you were actually competing to an extent, but he was just fucking mauling dudes in his UFC training. Oh, fuck off, Dana White. Oh, yes, Brock returning the Raw after Mania. Fucking F5ing John Cena. I fanboyed like a son of a bitch, you best believe. F5! Oh, Brock versus AJ, that was such a good match. Suplex City, bitch. And here we have the moment my childhood was broken. The streak is over. So leave the memories alone. Brock, honestly, was the perfect choice to end the streak, though. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, the 21-1, and it actually ties in really well with the current story, which is just a happy coincidence, but Roman Reigns eventually going on to be only the second person to beat Taker at WrestleMania as well. It's a pretty big deal now. That actually touched on that in Paul Heyman's promo on today's episode of SmackDown upon recording this. Who's going to be number 4? Still to come. So we're going to go to another fucking ad. Jesus Christ. Well, I'm assuming it's probably going to be all of the 4 people you just showed. I just don't know the order. No, I didn't go far enough. Alrighty. We're all about to find out who number 4 was together, or is. Stone Cold! Now they're showing pictures of all the kings. Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? Behold the king. The king of kings. Tune it. On your knees, dog. Ooh. They're talking about how he was meant to win King of the Ring in 97, I think. I'm assuming that's where they're leading to. They just showed 97. Oh no, 97 was the year that he won. It was 96 that Stone Cold won. My apologies. I thought they were about to go deep into something else. What if Stone Cold didn't win that year? Which is a topic I wouldn't mind getting into later on. Just I want to do what ifs in general in this, but yes, the Evolution reunion against the Shield. That was fucking dope. Of course, that also birthed the infamous Blue Teaster that broke the internet because, y'all are a bunch of fuckwits, but that's okay. Well, you could argue that Triple H is not the King of Kings because whoever's going to be number 1 in their own mind is already the King of Kings. There's a little bit of shenanigans going on here. Triple H, and tonight, in this very ring, Oh my god, they just showed a young Ryan Reynolds from back in the day from Blade, Trinity. Inside Out. Low-key, a really good movie is Inside Out. I don't care if it was straight to DVD. So was the Chaperone. All of Triple H's movies have actually been pretty good in my opinion. Jumbo Weenies. Child humor. Fart sounds. DX impersonating the McMahons. This is like just taking me down memory lane here. This is fucking great.
Stay on top so long because he does change and evolve his character. He's been the baddest bad guy to the coolest good guy.
The baddest bad guy to the coolest good guy. I could see that, even if it is his wife saying that. Again, showing The Rock, footage of The Rock talking about Triple H from like 02, 03. Oh, yeah. Undertaker out of character. That looks like old footage as well, but in saying that, Taker being retired has done a lot of stuff now. See, I don't know if I agree with Batista on that. I don't know if you guys picked that up, but he said that Triple H is like the Michael Jordan. That I think I low-key I prefer Stone Cold over The Rock, just that tiny touch more. But if anyone was the Michael Jordan, I think it'd actually be The Rock. Best for business. It's time for number 3. In the countdown to the number 1 king of the ring. Bret the Hitman Hart. I can see that. Rightfully deserved. I'd probably... I don't know, maybe not top 5. But he'd still be in the top 10. But I'd still rank him above a lot of the people that they have showed. That's for sure. Shout out to Bam Bam Bigelow there, one of the most underrated big men in history. Should be in the Hall of Fame. Like, I know he went into like the legacy wing, but the fact that Bam Bam hasn't had a proper induction just blows my fucking mind. It's a real shame because when I was a kid, I was actually a really big fan of Bret Hart, and as I've gotten older, like, it's kind of like his attitude outside the ring that kind of makes me not like him. And I understand, like, be confident in your abilities. Like, I was confident in mine, and because I was a young rookie, got told I had an ego and yada, yada, yada. But Bret just comes across as really bitter, and maybe rightfully so, like, after stuff that he's been through. But I don't know, it just loses a bit of respect in that aspect for me. But certainly in terms of in-ring competition, Bret Hart, one of the greatest of all time. Definitely someone worth studying if you want to look into, like, proper psychology and stuff. I said this in my my tag team episode. Bret and Anvil as the Hart Foundation, probably the most perfect tag team if there ever was one. I love this shot, showing his boots walking across the ground. Go get him, champ. That's actually kind of cool. That there, I like that. For a dude that never really had much, like, personality or charisma, he really did get himself over, though. Like, there's a lot of wrestlers today that are great wrestlers, but they don't know how to get themselves over by that. They just try to be like, oh, I'm a great wrestler, that's my gimmick. But Bret Hart got himself over tenfold just by being a great wrestler. Again, it comes down to, his psychology and stuff. Like, he made you invest into his character by what he did in the ring. Oh, that's like kind of cute. They showed like a little girl like crying because of how much she like loved Bret. Bret Hart on The Simpsons when he bought Mr. Burns' mansion. Good times. That's one action figure that I would actually like to track down. Bret Hart as his Simpsons character. Edge just said that Bret Hart has a cool factor that people just latched onto, and I could say that. I could see that, rather. I agree with that. Like, he doesn't have like the most charisma per se, but there's just something about his aura. And again, I think maybe it does come back to what he did in the ring, but it kind of made you be drawn to him. And we've got another ad for this Friday, even though that is the day. This obviously came out a few days ago, or the 3rd of October. I thought it came out this morning. I thought it said the 8th. My bad. Oh, wait, yesterday was the 8th. Either way, I still thought it came out within the last 2 days. Oh, now we're buffering here. Buffering. All right. We're about to have number 2. My Chromecast just fucking crashed. I was about to have a heart attack there, but here we go. Just to recap, number 3 was Bret Hart, and now we're going to get number 2. Who are we going to get? Stone Cold! Stone Cold! Stone Cold! So, as I said before with Triple H, this is something that I really want to... I wouldn't mind discussing with someone. Obviously, I'm not going to... This is a topic I'm not going to do by myself because I need, someone to converse with. But what if Stone Cold never won King of the Ring? He would have still been a big star regardless, but you could argue he never would have been as big of a star because Austin 316 arguably wouldn't have been born. To a lesser extent, does WCW beat the WWF because there's no Austin 316? Just food for thought, but Stone Cold, Stone Cold, Stone Cold is number 2 according to WWE. He always had the fucking most badass bloody ring jackets, so the Stone Cold vests.
At the 1996 King of the Ring, Austin stomped and stunned his way to the throne, putting the rest of
Talk about your Psalms, talk about your John 3:16. Austin 3:16 says, I just whipped your ass. Or whipped your glass shattering sounds, because censoring. Are they going to do the glass shattering, or they're actually going to show it? The pure Bible's talking about prayers, talking... Oh, I forgot about the line. The line in between it. Mania. Talk about your John 3:16, Austin 3:16. Oh, they actually said it. They censored that out in a lot of highlight packages, which is crazy considering the iconic line that it is. I get being, PG and stuff, but fuck me. This podcast is definitely not PG. Talking about all the records that Stone Cold broke. I think, honestly, and you're going to hear me say this again in a couple of weeks because I talked about it in my conversation with my mate Jeff that'll drop in a couple of weeks' time, but I'm pretty sure Stone Cold actually still has the record for the most t-shirts sold with the original Austin 316 t-shirt. Could be wrong. Cena or someone may have broken it, but I'm pretty sure he still has it. Austin riding the Zamboni to the ring and attacking McMahon. The cement truck in Vince McMahon's Porsche. Oh, dude, I'm getting goosebumps again. Different kind of goosebumps to Edge's return, but just the fucking nostalgia, the beer bath. Oh, yes, Mr. McMahon in the hospital. The bedpan. Dunk. Yes. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, he's sipping on his Steve Weisers and I'm still sipping on my watermelon flavored White Claw. I'm sorry, Steve, I have disappointed you. It's fucking really tasty though, that's for sure. Again though, still no black cherry. The Texas rattlesnake, by God. Looks so weird seeing him without the goatee. Holy shit. They've shown a few clips of him with just the mustache. I don't like it. Ah, yes, the infamous, well, not infamous, but the stunner on New Day at WrestleMania 22 in Texas. 'Cause Stone Cold said so. Who will be crowned number 1 next? But first, another fucking ad break, which I'm about to fast forward through, and I'm not gonna edit out this ranting because it's 2:15 in the fucking morning.
this time it's Wade Barrett on the receiving end of some very bad news.
I just got a comment on my last episode with Mrs. Crossfire as I'm recording this. Shout out to my sister-in-law. She says I did a great job. Thank you very much. I shall pass that on to your sister-in-law, Mrs. Crossfire, or to your sister rather, Mrs. Crossfire, that she did a good job. Twisted my words there. Who gives a fuck? Thank you very much, sister-in-law. Love you lots. Of course, number one. All hail King Booker. All hail King Booker. And yes, I'm doing the finger thing as I say that. But I honestly, if I was to do a top 10 or even a top 5, top 3, whatever it is, it's all the same, obviously. 5 and 3 is just more prestigious than 10, but number 1 is definitely Booker T, King Booker. I don't think anyone took to that gimmick as much as he did, and especially because it was such a difference to his old gimmick. I love the segments every now and then as well, where he'd accidentally wink, like obviously he did it on purpose, but he'd go back to like his regular voice and they'd be like, what? Because he'd stop talking like the regal accent. But speaking of regal, I'm surprised Regal wasn't in this. They showed him a lot in a few times, so I guess it wasn't a spoiler. It was a swerve, bro. King Booker, stay along, holla holla, Blair. It's going to be a tag team match, and then after that you're going to go one-on-one with The Undertaker. Or maybe you go one-on-one with the Animal Batista. One of those two, because that's apparently the only two people that he ever did it with. That's great. Yes, Charmel. That's Queen Charmel doing the royal wave. Dude, like people talk about the Attitude Era and stuff. Like, obviously, like I've said before, and I can't remember if I've said it on the pod, but if I have, I'm going to say it again. I think the Ruthless Aggression Era was better than the Attitude Era, but a lot of people, once it gets to like 05, they kind of say that it's a bad period of wrestling, but 05 to 07, arguably 08, some really good stuff, and maybe it is just the nostalgia, but this stuff here with King Booker, it's fantastic. Who is this rogue? Well, funny you ask, I'm the Rogue Soldier John Crossfire, and I'm doing a watch-along on the WWE Network for the Court and Conversation podcast. There we go, we have an ad within my own program, because that's apparently how we do things around here. Make him kiss my royal fate. See, I remember watching that as a kid and being so mad, and you can see plain as day now that Cena's lips don't even touch Booker's feet. The bookend. Again, so mad when Booker beat Rey Mysterio for the heavyweight title.
You can't quite take the streets out of the king. You will amaze.
The Undertaker! Yes. Ha, he said it. Little Family Guy reference there. Oh, hell no. You dropped your crown. Batista. Yes, people trying to break Booker is what I was saying before, trying to get him to go back to his like regular voice. So good. Bow down. All hail King Booker. I would actually agree with that. Bruce Pritchard just said that Booker made that the highlight of his career, and yeah, he was a five-time WCW champion, but that 6th world title in WWE, and to an extent, even without the title, King Booker, to me, is what most people remember in terms of Booker T, at least my generation. So again, it could be nostalgia, but I feel like that stands heads and shoulders above what he did do in WCW, both in Harlem Heat with his brother Stevie Ray and as a singles competitor. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't. I don't agree, Corey Graves. No, number one I agree with, but the rest of the list was kind of, yeah. And again, we have an ad. King of the Ring this Friday. Well, too bad, it's already Friday. You can't tell me when to watch things. I'm just ranting at this point. I'm sorry, y'all. It's almost up past 2 in the morning upon recording this, and I'm sleepy as fuck, but I still got to edit this. But that will bring an end to this little watch along. Tell me what you guys thought about, the order of the rankings. Hopefully you actually listened to this all the way through and I didn't absolutely, just send you to sleep, bore you to death. But if I was to actually pick the best King of the Rings, and I'll do a quick top 5 before I wind this down, but I think 5 would be Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I know you're probably thinking, why isn't he higher? But he didn't actually do anything with the King moniker. It was just kind of the promo afterwards. But he definitely deserves to be in the conversation. Number 4, I would have to say Owen Hart. And again, maybe that's me being a mark and nostalgia and bias, but Owen Hart, and maybe it could be because of like the lawsuit and stuff, I don't know. Well, obviously, it's been settled, but it could be that, because of what's happening with Martha and stuff over the years since Owen's death. Maybe that's why they didn't mention him, but I feel like Owen should definitely be on this list. Number 3, I probably would have went with Bret Hart. Number 2, I would have actually gone with King Corbin, because again, like, he had that gimmick probably longer than anyone from, in terms of the actual, like, winners of when it was the tournament as it's being presented now. And then number 1, same as WWE ranked, All Hail King Booker. So yeah, maybe you can go back and even watch the countdown with this in the background as alternate commentary, but then again, maybe not. Your song of the week was Hail to the King by Avenged Sevenfold. Match of the week was Kurt Angle versus Shane McMahon at King of the Ring 2001. As always, all my details will be in the link tree in the description below. I am the essential John L. Crossfire, and you were just caught in conversation. While I'm alone.